Hello. Today we're going to have a quick look at for loops in PHP. So you'll notice that what you're seeing right now is a good old-fashioned while loop. It's probably the most common structure for repetition in code. I think the best way to introduce for loops is to compare them with one of their counterparts. So in a traditional while loop, you've got a counter. I gave mine a name of I, a value of 1. Those are up to me. Keyword while, here's my condition. So as long as that condition is true, this chunk of code here will continue to run. And the third part is the incrementation of the counter. So the idea behind a for loop is that, this part right here, this part right here, those seem kind of repetitive, I guess is a good word for it. It's a variable which is only going to be used in this little chunk of code. Initializing it, incrementing it, those are things you might forget to do, things that seem like they're probably maybe not a great use of a line of code. So we've got for loops, and for loop is just an alternate syntax. If you don't like for loops, you don't have to use for loops. But a lot of people do use for loops. They don't do anything for you that a while loop can't do. It's just an alternate syntax and it's a bit shorter. So when I'm going to write a for loop, I go straight to the for. I don't have to worry about the counter, because the counter, all those counter operations are going to be contained within these parentheses right here. So the first thing I do is make a decision about what I want to call my counter, like j, and I assign it a value like 1. And I write a semicolon, right? So semicolon is what separates the three pieces of this. So this part right here corresponds to that part right there. I'm calling my counter j because I've already used I. The next part is the condition. So I'll say while j is less than or equal to 10. Right? So that right there corresponds to the condition of the loop. And the third part is the incrementation. So if I want to add 1 to j for every pass through the loop, then that's what I write. Then when I'm done with my parentheses, I do an opening and closing set of curly braces, and then inside of these curly braces is the contents of my loop. If I wanted to make this mimic that, then I would just paste that right there. So this root loop right here is equivalent to that loop right there. Now, if you've never seen this before, you're probably noticing a couple things. One of them is that this isn't so intuitive, right? If you didn't know what a for loop was, or no one explained it to you, or you had never seen an example, you probably that wouldn't make much sense to you. Whereas this reads kind of like English. The other thing that you'll notice is this is condensed, right? Like this line doesn't need to exist, and that line doesn't need to exist. So this is definitely a shorter form for repetition, and in that sense, it is beneficial. But it's a little bit less readable. So that's the trade-off. Do understand that I think a for loop's probably intimidating to everybody the first time they see them. You're only going to get more comfortable with them through using them. And the other thing is that you don't need to use a for loop, right? If you want to use a for loop, use a for loop. If you want to use a while loop, use a while loop. It's just an alternate syntax. So this right here will produce the same result as that right there. So that's how it works. If it's something that interests you, then you should play around with it a bit. If not, well, now you know what a for loop is. So, thanks for watching.